Okay, so what we will do today, research, okay? How can you pick your research topic so that you will read and write? By reading, you may elaborate your idea, and I know many of you would like to implement or give some proof. If you want to do that, then you have to also spend time to do research. So this module guides you how to conduct research so that you can reach the goal that you originally set. James.
I have a quick question. Can we schedule a meeting with you today?
Today, right after this?
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm going to schedule with you your next available appointment after class.
Why don't you email me? Yeah.
Okay.
And also, meeting for, I know you have another things, right? Your degree work.
Yeah.
I can meet you also.
Okay.
That's a separate issue. This sign up is for your individual research.
Yeah.
So let's stick to that
Okay.
issue.
Oh, yeah.
And all other issues, you can meet me. You need to meet me more than the time that you sign up. So each student at least is expected to come and see me and discuss at least 2 times. One for your individual project, and then second for your group projects. Okay. Motivation. You should have a motivation at this point. That is the reason I talked to you the first meeting, saying that those who are not ready should come back later. So many of you, the students, already dropped out, which is not bad. Those who do not have enough coursework done should come back after taking enough or reasonably enough coursework. At least a couple of coursework related with cybersecurity, so that you may have some interesting topics. Will be great if you are fully motivated. So you need to have some motivation. If you do not have, still not too late. So I know many of you are continually watching video, YouTube, right? YouTube. Do not watch something that your parents do not want you to. Okay? I want you to do something about cyber security, or TED Talks, or fourth industrial revolution, something like that. That is the future. Fourth industrial revolution already came, right? If any of you do not know what it meant, then you should watch. You should read some articles. Assuming that you already know first, second, and third industrial revolution. Okay? Let's see what what I have. Okay. Let me introduce you a little bit about the fourth industrial revolution. It's not evolution, it is revolution. Some of you already noticed that there may be some devices that can sense a lot better than human beings, right? As a human, we have only how many senses that we have? 5, right? 5 senses. How many of those 5 senses already implemented on your smartphone? Your smartphone can talk. Your smartphone can hear. Your smartphone can smell? No, not, right? Oh, we are better. Yeah, human better. What about touch? Yeah, smartphone understand the touch. Yeah, camera. Smartphone has cameras. So pretty much. What about Uber? Uber taxi. It's a taxi, right? Uber. Is it Uber? Yeah, Uber. So autonomous Uber. Taxi is just around the corner. It's an unmanned vehicle. That unmanned vehicle can have a lot more sensors embedded. By the way, before we get to that point, let's stick to smartphone. Smartphone has many sensors like us, except smell, right? But smartphone has more sensors than us, or something that we do not have. Do we have a GPS sensor? Anybody has a GPS sensor? Born with the GPS sensor so that you know where you are? Nobody, right? Not born, right? Compass. Anybody has a compass? If you are in deep sea, do you know where you are? Which one is the north, the south? Have you been in that situation? I've been in that situation. What about deep mountain? Do you think you really know how to go back to your parking lot if you drifted away for about 4 hours, 5 hours? If there is no GPS, of course, in that case, there is no cell phone, no cell towers. Of course, many of us do not have satellite phones, right? Anybody has a satellite phones? No, nobody has a satellite phones. Will we have satellite phones in the future? Why are you saying maybe? Why not say yes? Right now, what is the standard? Our phone. What generation? 3G, 4G? Ours is a 4G, right?
Satellite takes longer. It's you're already space to come back.
From 6G, all phones will be satellite based. What is a 4G cell phone? All phones are IP based. IP based. Your phone has somehow IP. So 6G, I think maybe 5.5. Very soon, there will be a smartphone on the market, and they said, "Oh, you don't have to worry about where you are because it's a satellite based. You don't have to do roaming service. So when we go abroad, you don't need to. You don't need to unlock your smartphone. Even if you go to North Pole, South Pole, will be okay. Satellite. How about you go to Moon or Mars or Jupiter? Your satellite phone will work? No. You have to think about the satellites. What is a satellite? Satellites is orbiting around the globe, right? Earth globe. So you can communicate through the satellites to where, as far as your opponent is on the globe. But if you are outside, then you do not have the satellite signals. Maybe 50 years later. I'm not going to be here. So 50 years later. Sayonara. Many of you may stay here, right? 50 years. Maybe at that time, not satellite based, but something else. Right? Which can cover multiple planets together. Right now, satellites covers one planet, Earth. Your cell tower covers very small area. Satellite covers Earth, globe. Much better, right? Okay. Industrial Revolution. Because of sensors, sensor technology evolves dramatically. Whatever you do for manufacture, your machine can do better than human in the near future. Already is in some area, so sensors, robots with a lot of sensors can work a lot better than human. There's no fatigue, right? Of course, you have to do some maintenance if there's robots. But robots can sustain a lot longer than human, right? We can work only at the longest 8 hours, right? At combat, for example, soldiers. According to combat manual, John Abbott. Combat manual. Is there any some break time when you do combat? Hey, let's break time. 15 minutes fights and 10 minutes break.
1 hour sleep.
1 hour sleep. At night you have to sleep, and there's no such, right? But still there's a fatigue, right? Complete fatigue, then you cannot. I think human can live up at the longest maybe 3 days and nights. I've done that. Not 3 days and night, but in my life, two nights and 3 days. No single minutes sleep. Okay. But sensors, robots, can stay at least maybe a year, right? If your robots dies in a year, then you may not invest. You don't want to buy. When you buy it, your expectation is, I think, maybe 4 years of lifespan of your robots. So 4 or 5 years continually work. So manufacturer systems, some assembly companies, some automobile companies, smartphone, even McDonald's. You know that McDonald's already prepared robots. They will install robots in major McDonald's restaurant, because McDonald's employees says, our basic minimum rates should be $15, $16. So McDonald's top guys say, okay, we cannot survive. Okay, let's prepare robots. So they reduce human employees dramatically, and then they put a lot of robots. Maybe there may be no tellers, not tellers. Oh yeah, they're cashiers. No cashiers, but you put coins and credit cards and order. Then some robots give you, hey, here's hash brown. Comments?
Yeah, I just saw something a couple days ago where they have a robot. You know how when you sign up for something, you got to click the button that says you're not a robot? They have a robot to click and say that it's not a robot.
Oh, that's for web.
Yeah.
Web. That is because web attack. If you want to attack some web servers, okay, and then they have another Windows saying that I'm not robots. So if you are not robots, therefore you know that within the program, sometimes they can show something else, so that you can immediately respond. But robots may take time at the current technology. Maybe in the future, robots can understand quickly and then say, I'm not robots.
It took like, I don't know, I think it took like 1-2 minutes tops. I saw it physically, went over, found the mouse, dragged it, and clicked the button.
Yeah. Why they do that is when they attack web server, they attack by programs, okay, not by clicking. The way that you click, all the text that you enter in response to the text-based prompt and query, and then you click some of the buttons, and finally you want to button submit. And all together, when it delivers to the server, back-end server, they are concatenate in one long line of query. Instead of generating long line of query as human clicks, externally some robots or some programs automatically generates the finalized query statements and then ship it. Okay? To avoid that, robot generated query request to the back-end server, from time to time they ask some other different question so that the server can understand that, hey, this is not the query that we provided to human, but your query is automatically generated, so that they can reject quickly. Yeah. That is the way they do. So that type of work, if you want to do, anybody has HTML, strong knowledge of HTML and PHP and back-end server, database server mechanism, then I strongly recommend you to work on that area. That is great topic also.
I was going to say it encourages interaction between user and device and server through a session key or something that works like a session.
Okay, back to session key. When user enter into a server, whatever the system, okay, computer system, along the network layer, from the physical layer to data link layer or whatever, okay, all the way there up, there's a session layer. The session layer, before you get into the application layer or presentation layer, at the session layer, your ID, your credential is taken into the system. and then the session information is logged in. It's logged in a log file, okay, somewhere in that server. So if you implement your web server the way that it pick up session user credentials, which can contain where you logged IP address, so origin IP address, and origin port number. Of course, your login and your password, and time. All such information may be able to identify your behaves when you are in our web server. And then if you make it more intelligent, then you can grow the customer information. Previously, hey, Johnny behaves in this way 5 months ago, 2 months ago, his interest topic maybe shifted a little bit from chemistry to cybersecurity, and so on and so forth. And the items that he purchased also dynamically changed. A year ago, he purchased a lot of clothing for toddler boys. Now he purchased a lot of computing games and things like that, right? His daughter grows, so he doesn't want to buy anything to his daughter, but now he wants to buy instead some game software for himself. That type of things can be collected and increased and finally analyzed. Okay. So cybersecurity to prevent or attack customers, or not really customer attack, but to serve customers better. Knowing more about customers can make it possible, right? It's not really attack and defense issue, but that is related, something related with customer service more sensitively, okay? Sensitive, not arbitrarily serving. Okay, let's move. So, what you need to do is you need to know yourself first. Okay, although there are a lot of good technology to come, for example, fourth industrial evolution, then everything will be automatic and intelligent and possibly secure, so that if you want to do, oh, I want to combine them all, can you do that? Do you have skills? Do you have understandings? So I want you to know yourself first. Okay. I know many of you will graduate by the end of this semester, but not all, right? Some students only just junior, although taken good number of cybersecurity coursework, but still you somehow lack some knowledge or skills. So I want you to do the work at the level where you are. Okay. Prerequisite to a research career, if you want to do research career, then college, industrial, government labs, yeah, possible. Personal development, learn to write, speak, critical thinkings, and learn art of computer cybersecurity systems design, analysis, and evaluation. And also you have to understand why and one system is better than another and how, so that your research will be better than something else. And ownership. How do you own something? Basically, if you purchase, then ownership, that is yours, right? More precisely, in the context of ownership, somebody also said about creatorship. Did you create this? Did you invent this? Of course, if you create it, then you are the first owner. And then you can sell it to someone else, or you can give a license to someone else to use. Then ownership will be that person who purchased. So another privilege related to ownership in that context will be the usership. Can I use this? There's a usership. Okay? Ownership, creatorship, they may be all the same at some context. But as the industry diverse, each may be different. Your creator, for example, Windows 10, then Microsoft is the creatorship. Ownership. If you purchase it, then you own the license of that Microsoft Windows 10. Usership. Whoever uses it, that's if you are the owner, so that you can let someone use your Windows 10, then that person has the usership, so that you can create user login and password, so someone else can use yours, right? That happens. So those something related to ownership, some privileges. If you want to study something about privileges, then that'll be great. You can dig out a little further. You have ownership, but there is some delegatorship, right? You can delegate. You can give. If you have a delegator, so that someone else can also act on behalf of you with all the privileges that you have, there's a delegatorship. Can you consider more and more related with the ownerships? That is a research work, right? You can. But if you do research, then that is you, the owner of that research outcome is yours. If you have a great outcome, then you will be just a creatorship, so that you can sell it to someone else, so it can be finally owned by someone. But ownership is good, right? Picking a topic. Always have a current research topic. I do not want you to pick up the old topics. If you do not have any, still okay. But I want you to pick the current issue. Would it be great if you can pick the topic from your work? Raise your hand if you have some job, part-time, full-time, whatever. Many of you work, right? So you can pick some issue from your work. Why? Because you know that area more than anybody else. And think, is there any risk? Is there any potential attack? So you can elaborate a little bit more about your work. If you are done well, then you can. I mean, your research outcome may be presented to your employer. Not only for this course, but your employer. That's good. But in any case, I want you to start small. Although you think big, but act small. That is the reason I want to talk with you. When you talk with me, you sign up the time frame. Then I want you to bring about 5 topics in your mind. The following 5 topics are not really good, or something that I want to hear from you. For example, I want to do network security, or web security, or system security. Those 5. So vague, so broad. I want you to narrow down one area where there are 5 topics, more than 5 topics available, so that we can stick to that, narrow down the topics. I want our discussion sessions more productive. Okay. How can you make our meeting sessions more productive? If you bring your topic precisely narrow down, then we can talk about that. I can help you a lot more, a lot better than other cases. Okay? Project planning. Some of the project topics, so system security and safety. System, in this case, not just say system. So which system? Are you talking about a particular website, or some specific database that you have on access? Okay. Malware detection, modeling, analysis, method in control systems. So if you are talking about some control system, if you are working on that, then there could be some malware infection. How can you know if that is a malware? How can you know quick? Let's assume that you are the system administrator. Okay? So you fully understand everything about your file server, and the following morning when you come to work, how do you make sure that your system is the same as the system that you left last night? Basically, what you could do is you can make a hash database of your binary directory in Linux operating systems, something like checksum. So you make, for example, all the hash numbers for each binary files and put it in a database. Following morning, you need to make sure that everything remains the same. So you have a database, and then you run the same program following morning and compare if you have same hash files. If anything changes, any single bit changes, then your hash code will be completely different, right? If you run MD5, MD5 hash, then you can. If you do not know what we are talking about, for example, at some points, then I want you to write down that, and then you can search the web if you're really interested in that area. I don't want you to, because it is almost impossible. Everybody knows the same level of knowledge and skills. It's almost impossible, right? But I want you to, for this course particularly, I want you to understand the topic that you want to work on. At the beginning stage, of course, you do not know all the technological components required. But you can learn as you work on that area. That is all the benefit from this work. Data security and privacy. These days, Microsoft Office documents can be protected by assigning password, right? Can you break it?
Say it again.
Microsoft documents can be protected by assigning a password, right? So can you break it? Yeah, so write something about that, and can you do it automatically? Then write some Python code, simple code. Can do it. Hmm? Yeah.
Does Microsoft have like a password attempt? But if you just keep it running, I mean, you get it eventually if there's no like max limit of tries, you know.
There's a brute force attack by it takes time, but it's not impossible in theory. How? You can use all the words from dictionary. Test each words, and then there is some trick. For example, if there is a O, then you can convert it to number O. Alphabet O will be a number O. And then you can also try. And then combine 2 words and 3 words. So I think the number of words that you can generate based upon, for example, 500 words dictionary, then it'll be a billion or trillion words. So in theory it is possible, but in practice it takes a lot of time.
It takes too much time.
Correct. But still it is possible. That's how we create a password, right? And also name, somebody's name, and country name also, and uppercase, lowercase.
Uppercase, lowercase, alphanumeric,
Yeah, you can add some. For example, 1, 2. 1, 2 is likely possible, and number 4, for example, Johnny for cybersecurity. Then Johnny, cybersecurity. 2 well-known dictionary word, and then you can combine them with numeric data. So the way that you create your password, the way that you can attack. By the way, there's a lot of I've seen some websites says, oh, this is the way that you can create your password. So a lot of tips. So based upon that tip, you can make your Python script to attack. Yeah, reverse engineering. Yeah. Try some of those, and if your program works well, then
And it's underrated.
that is.
Do you think, Professor, that social engineering is underrated as it applies to hacking?
I think so.
Yeah, right?
Hmm.
Definitely.
Highly likely these days.
It's underrated. I mean, people
Yeah.
really are not aware.
Yeah.
Especially in the medical field, because you're there to help. Like as a medical provider, you're there to help. And if you just know what to say, all the right questions, and you can find out whatever you want about anybody.
Right. So medical staff members do not have
Training.
do not have training, but they do not have a sense what it should be, right? So there is a reason when you go to a clinical office, do not give them your social security number. They didn't change it yet. When they ask you to fill out the form, there's a social security number.
Still there.
When I go there with my wife never forget to write the social security numbers. So I don't give them your social security numbers. They said, oh, they asked me to write here. No. They didn't remove that yet. They don't have a right to know your social security number. Then you know what my wife says? Oh, they need to refer to the insurance office. No, insurance office doesn't ask your social security number. There's an insurance number, and they ask some others, right? At worst case, if they need to know your social security number, then they ask last 4 digits, right? Anybody has, in any case, if you try to prove yourself to whoever, if they ask you, give me whole full social security number, then you have to suspect.
Oh, no. So you want a driver's license?
Less sensitive. One less sensitive data is a driver's license number, right? When they ask driver's license number, they usually ask a whole full number. But for social security number, they have no right to ask 9-digit numbers.
I work at a pharmacy, so just I know there's.
Oh yeah, that is good. Good area that you.
In one case where there's an insurance, it's actually Medicare. If you say you don't know it, senior-year-old, if you give us your social security number, we can New York State
right, in
website
that case,
and
right.
find their all their information.
If somebody knows, do not know anything for social security number, if that person requests to identify her or him, then you may ask that person, hey, I would like to find out your record, but if you don't mind, give me your social security.
We have them write down a piece of paper and we shred it right in front of them. So, good best practices that you could do that for the situation that you're in.
I know you have a long memory, huh?
Yeah.
Shred.
I think a lot of medical institutions nowadays, they don't take your social, but they'll take your date of birth, and that'll be your key. So
Right.
not many people remember their actual birth.
Date of birth. How many people having the same date of birth? Same date of birth? A lot, right? But if they ask you your home address, then almost almost identifiable, right? Your home address and your date of birth, then they may know you. They may
there's no such thing as privacy. No matter how you can dodge it, all you can do is make it difficult for the person to to obtain your identity. You make it so difficult so that you exhaust their interest in you, so they move on. That's the best you can do.
Oh yeah, you
get
gotta
a-
make it hard enough so they don't waste their time.
You get a persistent guy and he really has it in for you. Guess what? He's gonna find you some way, somehow, if you're under a rock, if you wherever you live. He'll
Yeah.
find you. It's just gonna take time.
This time for tax filing season, right? The file, tax data compromise. The one, not really critical, but the one tip for tax filing is that do it early before somebody do it on behalf of you. Somebody may do tax filing of yours on behalf of you. So later, if you file yours, then you are in big trouble. Why? Because the IRS does not know you are the real person, whether you are the real person or the other guy is the real person. Then that is a big trouble, right? Because the other person already knows about you, right? Your social security number, your home address, and everything about you. So, the earlier,
And they have special programs.
the way that you can avoid.
And they have special programs.
They do,
They do.
but
You have your
right,
banking information.
but it's very hard to, yeah. It costs. You have to pay, right?
Yeah.
If you want to prove that you are really you, then you have to pay a lot.
They should just get away with filing taxes. Because your employer already sends your tax form in. Why do you have to do it too? Like doing it 2 times. They already know how much you make before you send in your tax return. In other countries they do it where your employer just does it and then you get your refund.
Right.
Based on your profile and your history.
Yeah,
you
I think
file-
another way that, for example, I'm from South Korea, right? South Korea, the tax filing, the way they do tax filing, their employer
Yeah, that's what I'm
would
saying.
do on behalf of employees so that that can be avoided. But here in America, we don't do that, right? Employer just issue a W-2, and everything is up to you. So we need to fight individually, which means some hacker can attack you individually. So we are vulnerable.
In America, we have a lot more tax codes and a lot more individualization when it comes to taxes. Like a student can get tax breaks, and
Yeah.
a non-student can, different tax forms.
I understand,
Like,
right.
you file for deductions and
Yeah, each individual apply different preferences. Okay, real-time monitoring. Real-time monitoring is really popular these days, and then real-time data can be distributed at real time, right? So many such examples available. Metro North. You guys have Metro North schedule on your app, right? You can keep letting you know current real time data by monitoring. Right now, we do not have any risk there. But at some point, if somebody attack, how do they attack? That's very simple. How your cell phone receives Metro North schedule. For example, next train is 12 or 45, and one after that something. There's some address, web. I mean, there is a so-called JSON data provider. JSON is a typical data type, so that the data is provided by some server. So you can do some spoofing, as if that server provides, you can provide it on their phone with the wrong data. It doesn't cause big problem, but there may be some other cases may cause a bigger problem. So Metro North schedule is causes a problem to me individually. But what if it is some other examples, right?
Well, if you put
For example, what type of things? Maybe logistics, right? UPS trucks running, right? UPS trucks keep receiving some data, the drivers, so that sometimes they said, oh, by the way, you have to stop at some location because your truck holds some of the stops. Originally, we didn't let you know, but by the way, your truck contains some of the items that you should drop on your way. Then they reroute that immediately. Real time, right? You can mess it up that way. No, I'm not asking you to do that, but that's possible, right? Logistics. That UPS logistics is less likely, less risk. What about airplane?
Delta just had a problem.
Yeah, airplanes up in the air somehow to the airport cockpit, wrong data sent to, and then some hacker says, oh, there's an attack. You have to reroute to Russia, for example.
Well, you could just tell them to drop 1,000 feet. And
Right, drop 1,000 feet, right. So there's no way that it can be recovered. So all scenarios possible. They are all automatic data feeders running. So somebody can spoof that data feeder channels. So Navy vessels problem.
Well, one thing with airplanes, every airplane has an automatic transponder on it. It's easy to capture that data with something as simple as this. And that's the software-defined radio. I can sit here in an airport, copy that data, and make it look like there's an airplane just hovering right above the airport.
It's good.
Gets automatic.
Hack RF1, there's a good device. So work on it, yeah.
You can take out an entire airport.
Yeah, software-defined radio frequency. That's a good area that you can work on. So a lot of risk available.
Yeah.
So that I want you to pick one small thing and read more articles, more news, maybe next a couple of weeks. And if you find any small topic in that domain, so that you can implement, you can test it. I don't want you to make a full, entire, complete, robust systems. If you make small scripting, okay, maybe 10-line scripts, it can do some. Of course, there are a lot of restriction, right? Only your scripting works if it satisfies some conditions. Otherwise, your scripting is not working. That's fine. So that much work is expected. Johnny, back to you.
Yeah, elaborating again on those events over the weekend with the aircraft. They're saying that it's those computer problems. They're not saying that they were hacked. This happened already.
That is also possible. Then how can you prevent it?
Delta has
Can
an
you
operating
build
system.
something so that if something happens, then it should notify to the stakeholders so that they can do some action, right?
Yeah, but see, the stakeholders, they know what's going on, and they might be not publishing their information correctly. You know, they're hiding the facts because of political concerns.
That is also very common. I had that experience.
Okay, so
Yeah.
because they're trying to.
There's a human fault.
Exactly.
And physical logical access control. For example, access control. What is the access control?
A system controls your access. Which part? Logical or?
Logical first, physical later. Logical, let's say you have Microsoft Word documents stored on your
The key.
yes,
credentials.
there. Then Windows systems does not have powerful access control operating itself, but Linux operating system has a lot better than that. So what it does is that you have a subject. Subjects means the accessor, right? Human. And objects, that is the documents. And not all the subjects can do all the actions on all the objects, right? It's not. For example, here you have you are the subjects, and here is an object. So example of objects is your Excel file. Okay, subject is you, and then there is an action. So when you work on some objects, then you need to have a particular action, right? For the same objects, you may sometimes simply read. So at some other times, you want to modify it. Some other times you may copy it. Some other times you send it to somewhere else. Attachment. All different actions, right? So that the control should specify who can do what. Who can do what. Okay? Michael can read this data as a general user, but if Michael logged in and therefore session user data contains him as a manager, not a regular user, not arbitrary user, but as a manager, then as a manager, the same person can do more actions on the same object, same Excel files. Okay? For example, can modify. That type of things is access control. So a lot of work has been done last several decades. Physical access control. Logically, you can access by providing login name and password. Logically, you can also access remotely, not only logically and also, but also remotely, so that you can access, for example, our department server. Our department server has a VPN installed, virtual private network. So you have to first to come in to that private network. So on another level, right?
Then you got to escalate yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And why we have a VPN server is because, unless otherwise, if you have an access, then the system itself is vulnerable quickly. So VPN itself can control you at outside. And physically, if you have a physical access to any server, then your server will be much more vulnerable. Can be attacked. At worst case, it can be attacked. It's crashed, right? Physical crash. Possible, right? Somebody who has a little bit of the command line skills, then you can give a quick interrupt to the system physically, then you may get highest privileges.
The administrative privilege.
Yeah, from the interrupt handler. Biometric identification of a person. So I'm going to read quick, and then we need to move. System security safety with the application in automotive industries. Uber car is autonomously driven, therefore can be attacked, right? Uber car runs, and you are the attacker, so you can break in the Uber car system and then reroute to somewhere else, to the George Washington Bridge, and then make right turn on top of George Washington Bridge.
Reroute to crash.
Not crash. Dive into. Intelligent sensors applied in safety and security solutions. Wireless sensor network security, signal processing, data acquisition, artificial intelligence used in the field of safety and security. Artificial intelligence is artificial intelligence and security. Combination of those two will be the next topic that everyone's waiting.
What about data mining?
Data mining is
Overlap.
part of artificial intelligence.
It's part of it, right?
Mhm.
So it overlaps cybersecurity. Well, it overlaps.
It's not overlaps. It's can feed better data to
Yeah.
cybersecurity system.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Decision making, automotive tracking, monitoring, surveillance solutions, and then sensitivity, responsibility, universality, robustness, scalabilities. Those are all the issues that you can consider if you pick one topic. And user friendliness. How can you make it user friendly? And actuator powered. If your sensor senses something, some environmental change, then how can you take actuator? There's some action. Energy efficiency, reliable communication, low cost, and more. And mobile and sensor tech, penetration, and a lot more and more. So what we will do is we're going to take maybe 15-minute break, about 1 o'clock. So those who do not have yet lunch, grab some. So let's resume 1:15 here. Kali Linux operating systems. Anybody using Kali Linux operating systems? Okay, yeah, it's good. So if you do not have, throughout this course, you can try also. The way that you could do is install VirtualBox. Basically, there are 2 virtual boxes, more than 2, but you may purchase from VMware. Or there's a VM player also, but a VM workstation runs a lot better if you purchase. Or you can freely download from VirtualBox. Download the VirtualBox from Oracle. Either way will be possible. Once you download and install VirtualBox, virtual machine, then you can install the operating systems on top of it. You can install as many as you can. Not really as many as you can. There is a limit, right? But Kali Linux is good that you can work on if you really want to do for your the capstone. And get some experience by playing manually. And then one thing that you can contribute to penetration testing is that I want you to do more automatic fashion, so that one way that you could do is to create Python scripts. Inside the Python scripts, there is a command line to activate some of the penetration testing. That's a good way that you can do. Okay, it's not really. By doing so, you can gain a lot of system skills, system configuration skills, and also cybersecurity issues. More specific, the penetration testing, and also the programming, right? So you can gain 3 benefits from that efforts. So if you do not have any specific topics, I want you to do that. The least important individual project is simply read papers and summarize, or provide a compare and contrast. What I want you to do, even if you are doing so on your writing, pick up small task to implement. Okay? Do not try to do the complete system. Small, very, very small things. James, you have some text?
Yeah, penetration testing is the use Metaschool as Ruby.
Oh, that's good too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If you Ruby over Python, they were,
Mm-hmm.
for some reason, they have the reason they set it in documents.
You can do that on based on Ruby, or simply Kali Linux, where there is something already cooked.
When they do the vulnerability scanning and penetration tests, they use more than
Exactly, right. See, for example, James is working for top law firm, right? Law firm where there are 3,000 lawyers, 2,000 employees. Not only that company, but there are tons of companies. So as a leadership or the ownership or CEO's point of view, are worrying about their systems. There's their digital assets. Digital assets is vulnerable.
Stocks.
Yes, then physical assets. If they have a building, then physical assets still exist. But the digital assets is their major source of revenue increment. So they are really concerning if there is any security holes. So James one day said that they want to do outsourcing. Some of the companies, hey, we'll pay you. Would you be able to penetrate our system to see if there are any holes? They usually, the penetration testing companies, they said, oh, you have some holes. Then the owner says, oh, how can we protect it? Hey, we have some packages. You want to buy this or that or this? And then we'll give you some services 24/7 so that very similar to virus detector program, right? Then they usually say, they scan your systems and they say, oh, you have some virus. You wanna remove it? If I say yes, pay me.
You just got the virus.
And then more than that is, you wanna continually, do you want us to protect your system continually? Okay, pay more. Try multiple vectors. This is more automatic sessions. Web application, Wi-Fi, social engineering, user research, maintain access, persistent threats. There are some examples. The threats, the examples of threats. Stuxnet. Oh, this is. You may, yes, some years ago, one group of students worked on this Stuxnet. How they got some source code and tried to run. And if it can be also possible, right? It could be attached to your operating systems. If you purchase your operating system, it has a Stuxnet. So at worst case, can be controlled remotely, right? And then in Iran, they purchase their operating systems, and that operating system controls their nuclear facilities. But clever, the company, American company, already embedded Stuxnet. Then if they try to do some badly, then they can control it.
There's an example.
We should do that to North Korea. I don't know what what operating systems North Koreans are using, but they are.
Star OS.
What is it? Is a Russian product or
No, it's
Chinese products?
It's basically a watered down version of the Mac OS, but it's called Star OS.
So who provides that OS to North Korea?
The North Korean government. They basically took a Linux distro, made it proprietary, and that's the only authorized operating system.
So that is a Linux, basically. Yeah, Unix. Linux.
Mac and Linux.
On the line. Right. Okay, so
There's a hotel in Austria recently that got held for ransomware. I guess they had like electronic keys and they took over their system.
Oh yeah, ransomware.
They had to pay, it was 1,500 euros, which is like 1,600 US, or in Bitcoin, I'm sorry, so I don't know how much it is in US.
Bitcoin, yeah, that's.
So they said they're going back to traditional lock and keys.
Yeah, some of you may be able to
1,000, right?
work on ransomware. How ransomwares are. There's some theory work and also some implementation work together, which is a good topic. So why don't you do the simple and easier ransomware on your implementation?
1,500 Bitcoin is 1,300,000 euros.
What?
Yeah.
Is that
Now
It's
expensive enough?
$1,000 coin.
So it was 1605 in Bitcoin.
It started with the 1 Bitcoin and $1 many years ago.
Yeah, many.
Yeah.
1975.
$1, 1 Bitcoin.
Oh, what is it?
1975.
And it's not traceable, right? It's traceable, but the identity.
Yeah, some of you may be able to also study something about Bitcoins. How Bitcoins can not be attacked so far. And some others that you can see. Cyber science. Many years ago, at the NSA meetings, the academia representatives, we all discuss about the program, the names. Are we going to do cyber security or cyber science? And many participants agree with the name called the cyber science. If we say cyber science, then it can cover everything. Everything. It's not a system issue. It's not electronic issue. It covers. It's like it may cover political science. It may cover psychology, of course. It covers everything. So there's some objection. Hey, if we choose cyber science, then there may be a lot of objection from other disciplines, because eventually everything will be under cyber science. Chemistry, there's a cyber science. Medicine, cyber science, anything. But anyway, that is also something that you may consider. So, okay, picking a topic. Have some religion about your idea and result. Do not worry about people stealing your idea, particularly at the earlier stage. At your stage, even the outcome of 470, do not worry about it. Your work is not that. Your idea is great, but implementation is small. Okay, so of course we do not have enough time to implement, right? So small ones, but with that small implementation, I want you to continue to work throughout your lifetime. Okay, that is yours. And also, by showing your idea or your work to someone else, you may have a good contributor, collaborator, like Shark Tanks, right? How many of you watch Shark Tank regularly? It's a good program, right? So watch it, that program, and get some idea from there.
Well, if I have enough money.
You can be an investor, like a Mike. Right?
What's his name from that sold his cybersecurity firm? Yeah, the one that sits all the way at the end. Whatever. The other guy that sits on.
It's a Broadcom, right? Is that guy?
No, it's the guy that sits all the way on the right hand side.
Right. Right hand side, left hand side.
Opposite of Mark Cuban. Robert.
Oh, Robert. Yeah. Okay.
Robert Hubbard, right? He had a cybersecurity firm. Sold it for what was it? 350 million. Now it's worth 1.5 billion.
Mm-hmm.
He should never sold it.
Okay. Stay on top of events. So once you pick a topic, then I want you to keep monitoring the level of the technology evolutions. So read the publications, read trade rags from NIST, NSA, whatsoever, and then you have to investigate. Okay, so once you pick a topic, then the first thing that you need to ask yourself, and therefore you need to find out, is how much your idea has been accomplished. Is there anybody go on the same area? I'm sure these days, if you do not spend a longer time to narrow down your topic so that it'll be smaller and smaller and smaller, then there may be so many people working on that area, same area. Then you have to read their accomplishment and see how much they contributed to that area. And if there is any small sector of that same topic not fully developed, then that is the points that you have to work on. And then second bullet is that why is your idea better, which means you have to make a better idea than the idea already accomplished. Why will your result be important? Another thing, the third bullet, that is very, very important. Whatever you do, your work should be important, significant, not meaningless work, right? It should be something important, so that even if you watch Shark Tank, some cases they said, why should I buy you, right? So there's no investment at all. Although they worked so long and they spent a lot of time and money to make some prototype or pilot program, but still is not really important to investment. then, right? Even if small one, tiny small ones, there may be something interesting to anybody, right? If you spend longer time, then you may be able to find out such topic. And also, you have to ask yourself, who will care? That's another big question, right? If you have a great idea, if somebody says, who cares? Then, okay, then you have to drill down a little bit more and tweak so that it should be some significant impact. Although you supposedly done successfully well, would there be a big impact? For example, if it is a cybersecurity something, penetration testing, so that it may be able to find some vulnerabilities, then usually big impact, but there may be some cases there's no impact, which means that vulnerability exists always, it's never removed. It comes up and goes out automatically, and that type of things, right? Then why that type of risk or threats is not really threats, because that is a routine. Okay, then there is no impact. Explore your idea. 3-way approach to system research. Build a prototype. Small, right? Prototype. That's very good. Or build a simulation. It's not really run the same size of data, but a small with a big assumption. We can make some simulation. If you work on penetration testing, then your target can be minimized. Okay, I want to test only the Windows 10 directory, the folder, user folder only, or system folder only. Some limits. Okay. Build a measurement apparatus. Measurement, once you make some contribution, then you have to show how good it is. Not verbally, but you need to have some quantitative measurements. Evaluate your idea. How is your idea better? Result novel. Measure it. Okay. And scientific method and computer scientific method. Simple scientific method and computer scientific method. Scientific method is that control one parameter at a time, observe the result. Computer scientific methods and change everything. So everything can be parameterized, so that you can tweak the parameters. So you can work. For example, parameter can increase or decrease. So your system accordingly. If data doesn't fit your situation, throw it away, right? There's no magic. All the research cannot be accomplished by magic touch. No. If you do some, for example, Python coding, then every single point you have to touch. For example, graphical user interface. Some graphical user interface, so nice, so user friendlier. But every single space on the canvas or frame needs to be taken care of, right? Although you click some button, it works some, right? It should be implemented that way. Sometimes some button is not just clicked, but your mouse is passed over that button. Therefore, your system behaves something. No magic, everything can be figured out. There is a reason. If you make some idea executable and bring your executable outcome to interview, then interviewer usually, if interviewer is has some interest on that, then ask a question, right? Then because you know everything about your system, you can, by using that, based upon that system that you implemented, you can satisfy the interviewer a lot more, because you can show it immediately. If interviewer asks, oh, can you tweak this in this way, or can you change that somewhere? Can you apply that to our application domain? So if you can tweak immediately, you can do so. So interviewer may be satisfied. Form a hypothesis. All the time, whatever you do, there's always some limit. You should know the limit. Those who worked on that area identifies the limit, right? Some drawbacks, some weak points. Those who do not know the systems cannot tell the drawbacks or the weakness of any systems, because that is yours. You know everything about your system, so you have to explain that. Hey, by the way, this is the strength. This is weakness. So if you provide that way, then the audience can be convinced. Your evaluation points. How will your idea match with the installed base? What are the switching costs over the current and obvious solutions? How will predictable technology advances impact your idea? For example, in the next 5 years. So, communicate your idea. Your work needs to be communicated, shared with your friends, with your peer group, so that the comments from your peer groups can improve your systems. So communication is really, really important. One of the communication is paper publications. Remember that I posted on the blackboard? Westchester County has, I think, two colleges participate. Manhattanville College and Mercer College. Together set up a one-day conference. I want you to prepare your work to present there. That is a good source that your work can be purchased by Westchester investors. Okay? Manhattanville College students and Mercer College students get together to make presentation. So usually healthcare students present, rarely some computer science and cybersecurity. So through this effort, 470 course, in the middle of March, at your presentation, we all know, oh, that's just a real good contribution, so that we can recommend the students to make presentation there. Okay, there's great opportunity. So I wanted to work and raise the level of your research quality to that point. Talk, verbal and written communication. Okay, verbal and written communication. Written communication, as I asked you to do, write a paper. And verbal communication, I ask you to present your work. And utmost goal is that all of you go to that event. In this year, it will be held at Manhattanville College. If any one of you go to Manhattanville College, then I will go with you. Okay? So this is a great opportunity. But my desire is that almost all of you make presentation there. Okay. I'll give you one more talk. So next week, I will talk about how to read and how to write. Okay, those two issues together. And then 2 weeks from today, we'll have individual meeting. My office, not here, my office. Okay, those who sign up. I think John, you're the first one, right? First session. Those who do not sign up yet, you have to email me by replying to the email that I sent out already. Okay, just mark there. This is my first priority, number 1 to 3. Usually I pick number 1. So far, if there is some conflict, then I take second preferences over yours. Any question before we? Okay, then I'll see you next.